Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the PodStation from TrophiesonPSN. I am not Dante Zero,
But I am.
but you are. I am Kryptonite Dragon, joined by Dante Zero, and welcome to this week's edition. This week we'll be doing something a little bit special. We're going to be having a bunch of guests, and our topic is going to be what brought you to Trophies on PSN. And of course we also have a pick of the week this week. And then also we want to talk about some events coming up and also one that we had yesterday. So before we get started on that, Dante, what's our pick of the week?
Our pick of the week is actually a Vita game. I know some people might groan at that, but it's definitely a great game to play. It's called Lumines. You may have seen various versions of it on PSP and on the PlayStation Network. This one is the one that came out when Vita first launched. It's published by Ubisoft and made by Q Games. It's essentially a music puzzle game with the same kind of concept as Tetris, where you have to essentially make shapes and get them into squares of 4 or more, and then they just blow up, disappear, and you keep building and building and building. But what really sets Luminous apart is not only does it look great graphically in terms of all the razzmatazz that goes on while you're doing this, but the thing that makes it so fantastic is the music. The music actually changes when you smash a 4 block. So if you're saying for the sake of this description, if you're say playing a level where the track is Chemical Brothers' Hey Boy Hey Girl, the track will change and certain notes will change depending on whether you hit a 4 block. So you'll never actually hear the same track in its original form ever. You'll always hear something different with it, and you can change it up by the way that you actually smash the blocks when you pile them up. So yeah, it's quite expensive to buy this on retail, unfortunately, and doesn't include a platinum trophy, sadly.
Ouch.
They have looked at patching it back into the game, and as far as I know, Ubisoft is still working with Q Games to see if that's actually doable. But you get around about 15 trophies. If you were to buy it on retail, it's about 20 quid. However, it's lucky if you live in Europe and you have PSN Plus, because the game is now free on the Instant Game Collection.
Ah.
So if you're on the fence about grabbing PlayStation Plus and you're a Vita owner in Europe, make sure that you grab Lumines, because quite frankly, it's a great little time killer, and I've been a fan of the series since since I played it on the original PSP. So it's good to see that that the games are still being released in one shape or form, and I'd certainly recommend that if you have a spare few bob knocking around on your PSN account, then do try out Lumines Supernova on PSN. Again, no platinum trophy, but it's a lot cheaper than the Vita version, so it's worth a shot. But yeah, Lumines on the Vita. It's called Lumines. The full title is Lumines Electronic Symphony. So yeah, go and grab it if you've got Plus. If not, see if you can pick it up in a bargain basement, physical copy in a bargain basement of one of the games retailers in your respective country, because you won't be disappointed with it. It's a really good music puzzle game.
Cool.
And that's the pick of the week.
Cool. Do you typically like music games, or?
Yeah, I find that
It's kind of a genre that people either love or they hate, depending on depending on the way they are kind of in life with music.
Yeah, see, the thing with me is I've always sort of like held a bit of a grudge towards the rock bands and the Guitar Heroes. I mean, the original Guitar Hero is fantastic, and it just kind of went downhill from there. But I still remember playing games like Amplitude, which was one of Harmonix's original games on PS2, which laid the foundation for games like Rock Band and Guitar Hero. And the thing with it is it was a music game without actually requiring you to have any extra instruments, but also the gameplay was dynamic and different. And I think that's the key thing with music games. You know, I'm not a big fan of you having to buy lots of Feritals, even though I own DJ Hero. But at the same time, you know, when you take a game like Lumines where the music tracks change, or Pixel Junk 4am where you know you can compose your own music so easily and then throw it out there. I think in fact there was a new music game released on PSN that I'm quite interested to try out. It's about £8 called DJ Mix something Superstar. I'm sure it's not going to be overwhelmingly great, but you know, it's budget PSN title, so I might give that a shot. But I like those kinds of things. I don't know, do you remember the old music generator games that Codemasters used to make for the PS1 and PS2?
No,
They were just
I
called
really
music.
don't. No.
Yeah, they were just called music, and you could literally, it would give you like a console version of, say, EJ or something like that, where it would give you thousands of samples, and you could go on and you could take those samples, rearrange them, place them how you want, and then create your own music tracks. I'd love to see more of that appear on this
Well,
generation.
music, it's so varied because, I mean, if you think about it, what fits into the music category, it's crazy. It's another one of those categories that's really hard to define because when they say music, it could be something that's towards generating music or just plays music, and like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I would
Some of these genres are hard to separate from others.
I would certainly say I'd like to see more music games that do things
Well, I think
differently.
part of their downfall and problem has always been like if you have to buy expensive attachments for everything, if you got to buy a guitar and drum set and all that.
Yeah,
I did see years ago they had at least the concept was coming out, and I'm sure the game's out by now where you could hook a real guitar to your system.
Rocksmith.
Yeah, I mean I would love something like that. If I could ever get my oldest son to bring my electric guitar back.
But it is still expensive. I'm very much the opposite in terms that I would like to see, you know, with like the current generation consoles and as we now know the next generation consoles, I would like to see more of those original Codemaster games where you could create your own samples and make your own music and then essentially throw it out there and with all the network options that brings. So it'll be interesting to see if Codemasters bring that franchise back to the music generator series. But I know there's definitely one music game that I'm certainly looking forward to on the PS Vita, and it's called Kick Beats, and it's being produced by Creative Zen, the guys behind Zen Pinball. And the idea is it's a fighting game, and you fight to music.
Yeah, I think I saw that. When you hit the notes, you fight better. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The concept and the early trailers for it look absolutely great, and I think, you know, especially because it's a Vita title as well, you know, that's just going to work. And I'm hoping that the publishers behind DJ Max Technica 3 bring it to Europe, because it's still out in Japan but not in Europe yet. It's got a North American release date.
You know what? You know what this has made me realize too. We pretty much forgot to think about this, but everybody wanted the ability for the PS3 to play your own music tracks, your own MP3s that you had saved on the PS3 during games, and I'm wondering about the PS4 now. I'm sure it'll support that, but you know they never did make mention of that in terms of music.
I'm pretty certain they will, given the way that the processor works and stuff. Same with cross-game chat.
Gotta be able
directly
to
say it, but
yeah,
you know,
gotta be able to play some music. I have a lot of music on my PS3, and I love listening to music and gaming at the same time. There's just certain, I don't know, when you're not using a mic, it's pretty cool to listen to some tunes, you know, that pump you up.
Yeah.
Can affect your gameplay. Love
I
it.
know. I know a guest that's coming on a bit later that does exactly that with a certain particular gaming franchise. Because sometimes I have
I
to
think I
listen
know who
to it
you're.
on
I think I
Skype,
know who you're
and
mentioning.
sometimes I nearly go deaf because I get it played second hand over
So I'm
Skype.
I'm
So
thinking certain GTA. Anyway.
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about you have an event idea coming up. We still need donations for the site. I think we're like about halfway there, and the month's going to be coming to a close soon. The SEO, unfortunately, we had to go to the members and ask for that help. But I got to mention, we got to be able to afford it as well. I know it's a pricey thing, and I'm asking, a few $100. And really, it's going to be a benefit to everything. All four corners of the site will have a lot more members, a lot more participants, and everything. It should make things a lot more fun. So we really need to kick that SEO off, and you know, it's one of those things like, this is for the betterment of the site. And I want everyone to know that I've already put money and everything into the site, quite a lot. I've been doing so. It's just a matter of this is kind of above and beyond that request. So just keep that in mind. Invite your friends. Help us grow. And Dante, you've got an event coming up. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so essentially we're going to finalise this probably tomorrow, but the idea and the concept is we are going to, myself and Squill are going to be doing a 24-hour gaming live stream. We'll actually be putting a poll
Now, is
up
that
as
is that
well.
24 British hours or 24 American hours?
I hadn't thought that far ahead actually. But the concept of it
Gotta do the
is that
conversion.
we'll be playing a game as voted by the community for 24 hours. We'll be live streaming it, and we'll be trying to put some fun challenges and so on. But obviously, this is going to be depending on whether we hit our donation target. So, there's going to be plenty for the community to get involved in, not only voting on the type of game, but also helping us actually, get to the point of where we do that and then set as challenges during the 24 hours. So, please do donate some money. It's worth it, if anything, just to punish myself and Squill for 24 hours. It's got to be worth a couple of dollars of your money. So, but we'll get a post out clarifying some of the more intricate details of the whole thing. But yeah, so 24 hours of live streaming of us playing, and we'll have like lots of community-based stuff that'll be going on during those 24 hours as well. So, but we need to hit that $300 target first. So get donating.
Cool. And then we had Battlefield 3 yesterday. Why don't we talk a little bit about that? Now, you were late, mister. I got to
Yeah.
download at the last minute, and it's going to take me hours.
Yeah,
Actually,
apologise for
was
that.
up early in the morning and actually just started that. And it actually went pretty quick. For me, it was probably only about 20 minutes, a half an hour, or something like that to update it. But, of course, I started as a mere level 1 without all the extra fun things that other people had. I was getting C4, and I was like, oh, where do I get C4? Oh, that's right, I'm level 1.
If
But
it's any consolation from the one or two games that I actually got to play before it descended into a bit of chaos, I got C4'd a lot as well, and I'm a top rank 50 or whatever. So
well, let's call them out. Who were our campers? Chris, Panda Sniper. No, I mean it was fun. We dominated the members, but I think we did have quite a few games where we maybe outnumbered them at least by like one.
yeah,
But it was a good time. I spent a lot of focus on just getting the objectives and laying down on the objectives and everything like that. Since I'm not so hot, at one point I was chasing Tiger Lust around for like an entire game trying to get in the tank with him. He just would never stop that thing. It was like he would come screaming by, and I'd try to jump in it. Died several times. It was like, man. And then you can't fly jets or anything for nothing unless you've practiced that and done that.
Yeah, I've
I
got
just
to admit,
basically, I always hope to just steer them right into, some spot on the map and kill somebody with a crash, and then try
yeah,
and bail out.
somebody was telling me last night that several members were doing that actively last night, crashing it into people,
Yeah.
which is always fun. I gotta be honest though, you're right with needing to get practicing on the helicopters and stuff. I mean, it's been what, a
Well,
year now
I get in
since
the
I completed
helicopter.
it.
It points, like I don't know if I'm tipping it up or something, how it's working, but you just goes
Yeah,
straight up in the air, like the nose points up, and then it's like I'm dead within seconds. I'm like, well, I haven't figured out how to fly a helicopter, but no, it was a lot of
it
fun.
it takes a lot of getting used to, but once you get back into, I'm just hoping I don't get bit by the Battlefield bug again, because if I do, I'm not going to stop playing it for months, and there's other stuff that I need to play. So
Well, I must have got like a bazillion suicides. I bail out of the jets too late as well.
yeah,
So, but that was, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's good to play a game that's a little bit different in terms of, it's we do a lot of first person shooters, but that's one that's got a little bit more
variety.
variety, and I like the concept there of capture the flag instead of just being about the flag. It's about sitting on it and holding it and things like that to get the points. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
pretty
Although
cool.
they do need, I personally think it still needs more modes, but yeah, it's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue on. We've got some guests today,
Yep.
and you want to pull in our first one? What do you think?
Yep.
Let me
Let's
see
do
here.
it. We should probably get Buku Nushi in. Bear with me. There we go.
Too late. I'm there.
Ah, well ahead of me then. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Can you hear us, Buku?
Yes, I can.
Buku, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My screen name is Fukunushi. My actual name is Brittany, and I work on the news team.
Work on the news
Woo.
team. Awesome. So today's topic, we're kind of hitting up all the members and that want to be on, and looks like we're gonna have about 4 people on. But we decided to start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about what brought you to the site, what things you like, what you're looking forward to the most, those kind of things?
What brought me to the site is my interest in games and writing, and mainly because it's about PlayStation. And also, it's a good experience, and it gives me extra stuff to do. Plus, I get to talk to a lot of people who love games the same as I do.
So you're all about the PlayStation now. Would you consider yourself a fangirl? Is that how that works? So like you're not interested in any other kind of gaming?
I play every other kind of gaming, but if there's one that I really stick by, it's always PlayStation.
It's always PlayStation. So your history there is probably what, PlayStation 1 and 2, or?
PlayStation 1, 2, I didn't get the PSP when it first came out, but I did get the PS Vita.
Oh, okay.
And I got PlayStation 3.
PlayStation 3. Are you going to be a first day on PlayStation 4?
Of course. Pre-ordering it as soon as I see it.
Pre-ordered it like Dante. Like the only person in the middle, right in the middle of the press conference. He's like, "How do I pre-order this?" No price set, no nothing.
Yeah, checked on Best Buy. They got a spot waiting for it. And I'm like, come on, just put it there and I'll buy it. Just put it there.
Refreshing the page, waiting for that thing to pop up so you can hit order now, right?
Yes.
Well, I'll probably do the stand in line thing, so I don't know. Call me crazy.
Yeah.
Nah.
And I was thinking along the same lines. Now that I've pre-ordered, I'm kind of like, actually, I want to kind of stand in line for it. I think it'd be a fun experience, to be honest with you.
Well, maybe. It depends on how bad it is. I mean, if they crank out enough for the holiday season, then it could be good. I found before with the PS3, I was a first day buyer, but I actually found it kind of in an off brand store because people forgot about those a little bit. They were standing in lines at the Best Buys and everything, and they were selling out. But at the same time, you go across town to some, store that had bought a bunch of them, but they're not really well known, and people didn't think to check there. Are they selling them too?
Yeah,
But
well,
we'll see
I
this year.
get the distinct feeling that I'll be watching you all buy yours because with us being in Europe, we tend to get everything late. So I've got a funny feeling that while it may be holiday 2013 for you, it's going to be spring 2014 for us. So
Okay, we'll show it off for you.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll just call you every day and tell you how awesome it is, and you're gonna
No.
move by then, right? Put that on your visa application, right? Reason for wanting to come to the U.S. Look, you guys are gonna have the PlayStation 4 before us. Period.
That's the reason.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of things that are different. What can I say? Looks
But it'll
like they're
be
targeting
interesting.
America a little bit more with the way the press conference was, and I think 50 Quid mentioned this, with a lot more, English speaking and stuff. Maybe that's more the focus this time around.
I know, but come on, everybody wanted to see Kaz Hirai get up on stage and say, Rich Rita! It was a letdown in that respect. But no, I seriously think Kaz Hirai should have been there. I don't know why he wasn't on the stage. Andrew House, as I said in the thread earlier, that I don't hate the guy, but he just comes across as so mundane.
Well, I still
Sometimes
had problems understanding some of them, so I don't know if it's just me, but like that Square Enix guy,
yeah,
the man boy that was on there.
Oh man, yeah,
The
Square
man lady,
Enix.
whatever. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's one of those things like the cultural thing there. I don't know if Sony always grasped that the best way, or if they, because it's like advertising. We know they probably advertise Sony all over Japan, but they need to get back to that grassroots of just putting the word out. Because like in the U.S., there's nothing anymore. It's like they went through this burst, and now it's
yeah.
like it's just dried up. What are they doing? I don't know.
We got sidetracked again then.
Yes, we did.
So, Buki, I was gonna ask actually, because obviously you've been with us now for a good sort of is it 4 months now? I think it's probably about just over 4 months.
Yep, almost.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Um,
wait. Yeah.
it's about 4 months. So what I was going to ask you is, what's some of the favourite parts of the site that you tend to frequent? How is it you've found since how is it you've found the site since you've joined us 4 months ago, and what have you made of some of the changes that have certainly come over the last 4 months?
I think most of the changes we've done so far is like really, really helping the site. So I think we're still grabbing people, but I think once we start getting more people to at least just notice the site and go into it, they'll really enjoy it.
The
I like the
SEO.
whole
Yeah.
being able to read up on games and write about it and find stuff that I didn't even know just from previewing it.
Yeah, I mean that is something we should probably say that we are looking into at the moment. Once February's out the way, we are going to be potentially looking at reviews and previews, which I think you're right will add more to a lot of discussion around the stuff that we do as the news team. We often do news articles, and sometimes it can be a few days before people even realise we've put it out there. But I think, as you mentioned, with previews and reviews, it's a good way to kind of get people looking at the news articles as well. So that's something definitely we're going to be looking at, as well as increasing the news team in March. Fingers crossed. So we should have some more people coming in board with that. But I think you're right as well. I just want to chip in and say, one thing that I love about Trophies on PSN myself is just the sense of community in having a discussion. It's okay to have a different opinion than other people. And I've found that, from other websites, which I won't go into. If you have a different opinion, it's not always positive, which is not always good.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing I can certainly say that we do, you know, certainly different round here. You know, I think that's something we should commend on in terms of the community spirit aspect of that.
Now, what do you guys think of some of the changes and stuff coming with the front end? Have you been keeping up on that? It's largely hidden, you know, from regular members. There are a few versions floating out there where you guys can see some of the work that's been done on the front pages. But we also have the newest article posting. I mean, what do you think about that? Have you had a chance to look at that, Buku?
The announcements and events.
Well, I have an article posting thing that we'll obviously need to tweak, but that's been up there, and it will allow comments from members and guests alike. They won't actually have to be signed up on the site, and they'll be able to post a comment. And you know, it's much more integrated with the vBulletin, so it allows for you to edit and everything a lot more easy and get away from what you've been using now, which has HTML code.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, no more Sunday nights.
I know you guys are not fans of that. The editor that we have up there.
That PubCP is quite difficult to get your head around it. But once you do, I mean, even then it still can be quite a nightmare because you've got to write the article in the forum and actually get it laid out, and then you've got to then take that and convert it into code on PubCP and so on. And it's just, by the time you're done, it can take like, you know, it takes an hour to write the article, and then you've got like another half an hour of making sure the code's right, making sure the front page looks right, the images are right. So, no, I'm liking it, to be honest with you. I saw what you showed the other day. I do like the new comment system. I think people are going to warm to that. You know, especially if it displays their avatar and usernames, and you know, I think it's great that guests, people from the outside, can come in and comment. Certainly know from the social media aspect of it, that's going to be great. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, myself and Buku and you know, IDP for Life, we all try and promote our news pieces through our various own personal social networks, you know, to try and bring people in, and you know, in some respects that's actually kind of worked. Have you found the response via your Facebook page and stuff, Brittany? Have you found people warming to Trophies on PSN, or?
Mm-hmm. I have a couple of my friends and stuff constantly looking at articles that I've written and everyone else has written, and news and stuff that's just been popping up on PSN. I think a couple of my friends have added themselves on the Facebook PSN site.
Yeah. I had noticed our Facebook and Twitter numbers had gone up slightly. So it just goes to show that, you know, what we're doing is working, and, you know, I think the news page revamp's certainly going to help a lot more with that as well.
Yeah, it's and you know, just to put that out there, it's a huge revamp. You got to be patient. We're getting it done. We have a programmer that's working really hard on that, and he's focused on nothing but that. Unfortunately, our other programmer is out of town right now for another week. He's in Florida, and you know, he's got one more week down there, and then he'll be back. But our focus is mainly on that, and then we'll be switching over to the trophy site. So,
woo.
Lots to do on that front end. We're going to be adding a lot of things, as you can imagine. You guys are going to see it's totally going to change, and we're trying to make it so it's not overwhelming and it has too much information, but I think you guys are really going to like it. It's going to pull news from different areas. Some of it's going to be kind of automated, like the most popular, and then others are going to still involve, you know, having the news articles and things up there, some links for videos and things, and some other features like that. So I think you'll like it. We'll see.
Okay. I was just going to say we should look at bringing another guest in just a moment, but before we let Buku go, quick question: most anticipated game of 2013?
Mine, BioShock.
Yeah.
BioShock.
BioShock, Tomb Raider, The Last of Us, Beyond Two Souls, all of those.
She mentioned the important one. At least she mentioned it. The Last of Us.
Those are all the ones I want.
Hopefully it'll still be as good as I anticipate it to be, because it seemed like they were leaning more towards that whole zombie element in the latest stuff I've seen, which is a little bit of a disappointment. But yeah, that's going to be a good one. That Tomb Raider game too. That's looking good, isn't it?
I already got their pre-order. Picking that up next week. Yep.
Yeah, that does come out here soon. What's the date on that?
5th.
March 5th, you
Yep.
said?
Yep. 5th of March.
Awesome.
I've actually played it, and it is awesome.
Oh, shh. Hush.
Open
Now you're going to make us jealous.
Yep.
PS4 before you. Haha.
PS4.
Yeah, I can just see it now. You got to play Tomb Raider first, we got the PS4 first.
Which
Right.
would you rather have? Okay. Well, thank you, Brittany, for joining us, and continue cranking out those great stories. We thank you.
You're welcome. I will.
Cool. We shall see you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And let's see about another guest.
Aye. Let's get more. Let's keep it rolling.
Rolling.
I know someone that's very eager to come on right now.
Who's that?
I've just lost my chain of thought then. Sorry, GTA Man's sat there waiting. He's ready to come on.
Why do I not have him on my phone list anymore? Pull that bad boy in here.
Yeah.
Tell him to watch his mouth.
Give me a second. Technical issues. This is a problem when you do a phone-in show, isn't it?
Oh.
Here we go.
Ooh, he's got the sexy girl from GT5 as his avatar up there.
There we go. Hello, GTA Man. Can you hear us?
The hello.
See you walk?
No, you're not really as pretty as that girl on your avatar, right?
Oh, me. You have no idea how much of an attractive woman I am.
Oh, okay.
Can't you just hear it? I mean, hear my voice. I mean, don't you just melt away right now?
Yeah. Yeah, you love a woman with an Adam's apple and a nice deep voice like that. It's all good.
Yeah. I mean, look at me as the female version of Duke Nukem.
Oh God, can the world cope with another?
How's it going, GTA man?
Well, never better.
Never better.
Actually, it's a lie. It's not September yet, so I'm still crying.
Yeah, I know that delays and everything.
Yeah. But there was a little bit of piece of information yesterday that I uploaded. Yesterday.
Yeah, why don't you tell everybody about that?
Well, there's been a new song confirmed by Rockstar Games or whatever. The source is actually pretty vague and far away, and I kind of forgot what the source was, but it's been confirmed. It's called Kavinsky Night Call. It's also the soundtrack for the movie Drive.
Yeah,
okay.
I know that track. I've got that on my Music Unlimited playlist.
Well,
Cool.
There you go. And this one is pretty big, I think, for the PS4 fans. GTA 5 is not coming to PS4.
Not coming to
There's
PS4.
no plans for it right now, so they're focusing on PS3 and that other console that I won't mention.
Now, are you happy with that? You're
I am, because then I don't have to buy another console.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm always skeptical whenever someone like especially with Rockstar, when they say we may not be working on it, or it's not in our plans just yet.
In a few weeks or so.
It'll be like
Change your mind.
it'll be like a month after it comes out. Oh, by the way, we're doing it on this next console. So I don't know. I think it's wise of Rockstar not to say anything just yet until it actually
Pete
launches.
Streeter.
Yeah. I think it's wise of them not to say anything if they are indeed working on a PS4 version. They're going to want to maximise their sales on current consoles before they announce it for another platform. So, can't fault them with that. I probably think we probably will see a GTA 5 or another GTA game on PS4. Fingers crossed, eh?
Yeah, I think we'll see Agent coming to PS4. It's a good possibility.
If it still even exists.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
You never
I'm
know.
sure-
I mean, Max Payne 3 has been announced, and then after a while of not hearing anything, well, like, here's trailers and screens, and here's the story, and now we're gonna hype it up, and it's gonna release in March, but then we delay it till May, and here is the game.
There's three games that are infamous for being vaporware, and that's The Agent, The Last Guardian, and Final Fantasy 13 Versus. And it's interesting when you look at that because it's all vaporware from three of the biggest publishers in the industry, which is Square Enix, Sony, and Rockstar. It's bizarre, isn't it? That three of the biggest publishers have somehow managed to, squirrel away and turn their biggest possible product into vaporware. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Looks like we're having a little trouble with GTA Men's connection.
Yeah.
I can still hear you. So this brings up another point. We should probably interject this in here if we can. There's some other news and stuff that I posted particularly on the YouTube video. Did you get a chance to look at that? Where I updated the info below our
Yes.
Vita video, or not a Vita video, a PS4 video.
Yeah. With all the specifications and so on.
Yeah. Are you able to pull it up?
I can't pull it up at the moment, no.
Probably kill your connection.
Yeah.
It's important to point out some of the people, I've had a few people ask me about some of those changes and what's happened with it, but it's important to know, like, PS3 is not supported yet on the PS4. People have to realize that.
Yeah.
There's some other things too. I'm trying to think what was in the list there. PS3 controllers will not work with the PS4, obviously. Some other things like that people are kind of like didn't think about, and
Yeah.
so.
I'm not too bothered about the controllers myself. I can kind of understand it. But, the games thing, I think people should hold off on caution with that for the time being because, we still don't know the full extent of what's going to be implemented with Gaikai. So until we do, I don't think people should necessarily worry too much about PS3 backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to affect a lot. It's going to affect a lot with these games. These people that are like, it's not on PS4 too. Well, you won't be able to play it on the PS4 at all if Gaikai doesn't get that support and start supporting the older games.
I think the problem with the streaming is that, for example, Mike is not going to be able to use it.
Well, I think our connection.
Nothing personal to you, but you got a pretty not too perfect internet connection.
Yeah, I know.
And you're not the only one. I mean, if I heard it correctly, people in the Midwest don't have the most wonderful internet connection as well. So that takes away a couple of million people who won't be able to use it. And
Well, I don't know.
The whole social media hype. I mean, it's a game console. Get rid of all that sharing and caring. Because I don't care.
I don't know. I think the dynamic of the whole social system, it depends on how you're looking at it. If you're just looking at it from great, just what I wanted, more Facebook integration, then yeah, I can kind of see it from some people's point. But at the same time, if you're looking at it from, well, actually, it's not just Facebook. It's changing people's mentality to be more social with each other. Forget the Facebook thing for a second, being able to actually help people with games. How many times I've had messages across PSN, how do you do this? How do you do that? Do you know what I mean? And things like this.
Yeah,
And
that
can you
is a
help me with
sweet
this?
feature.
And can't you help me? Can you help me with that? And if I haven't got the time to spend an hour helping somebody with a boss, and I happen to be playing the same game, um, being able to invite them to stream and watch what I'm doing is great. And I think it also helps as well. I mean, we do this feature pick of the week on the PodStation every week. What if I could actually start showing people, how great some of these games are, instead of having to buy, potentially upwards of hundreds of dollars of video equipment to record it and then, put it on YouTube so it's there for everybody to see. Instead, now people can just come in and view it, and that's great from my perspective because it means that, in some respect, from a news standpoint, people are going to take more interest in news.
Yeah, but look at the other side, right? You got Mr. Dante Zero saying, "Hey, look at me! I'm playing Infamous. I just made a special move." And the other guy is saying, "Hey, look at me! You know where I'm going." Hundreds and thousands of
or
people
you start
will
helping
do
people,
the
and then you get
exact same thing over and over again, and
exactly,
your
yeah.
video is not going to be watched.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of 50,000 instead of one of 500 videos. And then the other thing is you start helping people, and then everybody's like, "Oh, Dante's helping everyone," and then it's like, now you've got 100 people that want to look over your shoulder, and will it work that way, or
That's all right. I'll charge them for the privilege.
Yeah, I'm with you, GTA, man. I think it can be a lot more complicated than people realize. When you expand upon it, it's got a lot of good points. I like the idea of being able to trim a video out and send it out and not have to have equipment. But at the same time, we're talking about something that can get overwhelming and carried away, like we've talked about with social media before. It happens.
And just want to point out quickly, we try and get GTA Man back. We've digressed a bit, but I see what you mean about social features and stuff. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. But we should probably get back on topic. He's still there with it. He's still with us, GTA Man. GTA Man.
GTA Man.
Are you still with us, buddy?
He's fading and returning and fading and returning.
Yeah. It may be because I've added him to the call and my internet connection's not particularly great. It may be better.
Well, if he was on my list, I could have added him. But hey, that whole supernode thing with Skype, they've got some issues there. Be nice if you could turn that off again without having to edit your registry. But, I'll answer for him. What brought him to the site is he heard about the awesome Kryptonite Dragon on there, and, he couldn't stay away. No?
I'm not buying it.
Not buying it. It'd probably be best if you dropped him and then just added him back,
Yeah. I'm going to try and drop him out of here without dropping myself. You got live broadcasts, haven't you?
Yeah, you want me to hang up on him? I can do it.
Yeah.
Good boy. But no, let's hear from you. Why don't you interject right now a little bit about you while you're getting GTA Man back and.
So I'm Dante Zero. Obviously, most people on the site do know me. I think they probably know me fairly well these days now, with everything that I've done since essentially becoming staff back in October. My real name's Mike, or Michael. What brought me to Trophies on PSN?
What did bring you?
I was tortured by Warbear. I'm sticking to that story. I was tortured to death. No, Warbear mentioned it to me, and see the thing is, I've always been very sceptical of forums and websites and stuff where you have communities and stuff, but it comes back to what I was saying earlier. Very often what you find is that if you have an opinion or you get involved in a discussion, people are quick to judge and turn on you, just for even something as silly as a flippant comment. And there is a lot of that out there, and to be honest with you, in the time it would take me to sift through a number of websites to find somewhere where that's not possible, I've always been of the opinion, well, I could just, surf all these communities to find somewhere to call home, or I could just play games, and to a certain degree that's what I did over the years, until Warbear kind of put me in touch with Trophies on PSN. So at that point I was starting to get back into writing again, and I thought that would be a great outlet for me. It seems that everybody here was nice enough, and you could at least have a healthy discussion where people agreed to disagree. There was no right or wrong outcome, which is, I originally signed up in May, not long after I turned 29, I think. So it wasn't long after my birthday that I actually signed up last year, and it was about August, sort of September time before it started becoming really active with the site, and it was just all snowballed from there really. I put out my written works, everybody seemed to like them and seemed to get on with a lot of people. The community ethics and atmosphere around the site was great. And so, I then went on to the point of where I was then recruited by the news team, which was great from my writing perspective. I absolutely got on board with that, and obviously since then, gone up to news team lead, social media, as we discussed on last Sunday's podcast. The impact that has on bringing more members to the site, because I'm now at the point of where I'm so invested in the site that I really do want us to succeed. I think we've got something fairly unique, and it's certainly within our power. So that's essentially what brought myself to Trophies on PSN.
And I remember we had some deep discussions at first too, when we were talking about everything, and I really spent a lot of time talking with you about the whole vision and what you wanted to do with it, because at the time we weren't doing the social media stuff. And if you remember, I confessed to you that I didn't know too much about it or how to run it, and you remember I asked you a lot about hey, this is news and social media, and can you handle that? And you've done a fantastic job, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we've done great things since sort of October, November time, but there's still a lot more that we can do. So, I'm certainly not going anywhere anytime soon in that respect, because, as I say, part of the reason that brought me here was the community side of things, and, to be able to actually expand upon that in different ways and bring more to the community, is an exciting prospect for myself. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, in terms of myself personally as a gamer, I think people most recognise me for being pretty fairly hardcore. It's not blowing my head up big. I don't want to give people the false impression I'm trying to big myself up or anything like that. But I'm playing games the same way I did with PS1 and PS2, where I invest a lot of time in it, and I'm always open to new ideas with games and mechanics and different ways the industry changes and stuff. So yeah, I mean that pretty much explains me as a gamer. I'll snap up anything and give anything a go. Cool. Even if it's slated like a 1 out of 10 review, I'll still give that game a go, try it out, and go from there.
Okay. Well, it looks like we have GTA Man back.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
What brought you to the site?
Since the last patch of Skype, it's been playing up a lot, so I updated it. Hopefully it will last longer than 2 minutes.
Well, let's get back to you. What brought you to the site, and what kind of things are you looking forward to with the site, and just tell us generally about that.
Well, I think I was actually one of the first members back in January 2012, I think. SmartBomb kept harassing me, saying, "Hey, you should join this website." I'm like, not another one. I mean,
another one.
I'm a member of a lot of forums, and I'm like, I don't got time for this. But Like, alright, whatever. So I joined up, and in the first day I got 2 infractions.
You got what?
I got 2 infractions. Ask 50 quid. I gave my I gave my opinion because we all know Strange Genius, and if he's listening, then well, I'm not gonna
But
say
you gonna
anything
apologize
about.
before?
No, I'm not even going to apologize, and I never will for being myself. But anyway, I uploaded all my FAQs, like for Auf Wiedersehen, Petrovic, etc. And someone else had posted a checklist for it, but it was already in my FAQ. So I said in a joking manner, but obviously 50 quid didn't know me, so I said, well, we don't need this checklist because we already got something better, with a link to my Auf Wiedersehen Petrovic FAQ. 50 quid didn't really appreciate that and gave me an infraction. That was number 1. Then here comes the Strange Genius story, because he's such a less
pleasant
intelligent person, so to say.
There's your third
He
one.
was he was tracing I think it was Saints Row or something. So I said in a joking, no wait, it was his Tech 9. He's so obsessed with that Tech 9. He said, look, it's Tech 9. It's rock music. And me as a metalhead, I know the difference between pieces of non very good music and real music. So it's like, no, this is just rap. I mean, if you had a kind of rock thing going, then this is an example, Rage Against the Machine, that's rapcore, or Limp Bizkit. But no, this is rock, and then I kind of got a little bit annoyed and told him, you know.
So you got off to a shaky start, but since then, obviously, you haven't had any infractions.
No, I didn't. But I got the infraction, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say this nicely. I'm gone. I'm not going to spend time in a website where I cannot even voice my opinion or like be myself, because they didn't know me. And Smartbomb, he did know me, so he was like, "Yo, what is this 50 quid? I mean, come on, it's him. You know, you've met him on previous sites. You know how he is."
So
It was already too late. But then, like,
since then, obviously, since
4
the
months
site
later, I back.
launched,
Yeah. Well, understand too. I mean, we were trying to set one of the things when you're building a community is you want to have everyone feel free to post. Even if you post yours and you say, well, my FAQ is just completely awesome and, there's no need for another one. We don't want to discourage people from posting it because we do want to have that competition there. And then the other thing is you got to understand we got to watch for the site is for those that don't know is geared towards people 13 and older only. If you're under 13, I find out you're under 13, you sign up under 13, you're getting booted. There's a couple exceptions to that of people that I know they're folks, because really there's some laws out there on the internet related to having underage kids on a site. We are a gaming site, so it's going to obviously attract people of all ages. Gaming sites are typically looked at as automatically enticing youngsters to sign up to them. And so legally we would have a responsibility to collect information from parents saying that they have read everything and they are aware that their underage kid is on there, and actually give us permission to have them on the site. We are not going to do that. If someone is under 13, they're out. But we do want to maintain, some of the things. I mean, I know profanity and everything like that is perfectly fine. Just understand it's not perfectly fine to interject the F word everywhere and do that. So we try to block that stuff out. So I don't want to discourage you from being yourself, GTA men, but
I understand the move and stuff, but like 50 quid didn't even let me have a chance of explaining myself.
He's a hard ass sometimes.
Even after Smart Bomb told him, hey, look, this is GTA man, he's a bit of a different kind of guy, so to say. give him a chance, but it was already too late. I already have a level 1 infraction on my profile, and actually looking back at it, I'm like, this is actually pretty... After I deleted all my FAQs and kind of putting in their like curse words instead of actual answers to questions, I kind of disappeared for 3 or 4 months and then slowly came back, and the community was a lot friendlier, and it still is now, and I still ramble on about GTA. But another thing, if there are people listening, start asking questions in the GTA forums. I'm bored.
Well, we got to get that SEO pumped up, and we'll get a lot more people. And you know, GTA 5 when that comes out, it's gonna probably blow the number of people playing GTA out to new heights.
Cooking.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, we should probably point out at this point, you know, that Trophies on PSN hadn't long been, you know, in work, and you know, like anything, you know, the first couple of months are always going to be shaky. So, but obviously since then, you know, you make a mistake, you learn, and I think that's something, you know, the site's done a lot of recently. You know, we've seen what works, we've made mistakes, but you know, we've learnt from it, we've built on it and improved. And I think that's the great thing about the website, wouldn't you agree, GTA man?
Yeah, I mean, I work for the website myself, and I experience like stuff like that. It's been a little over 5 months now, and I see like the curve that the website is going through. Recently in January we had a new version of the website, and the response has been great, but I see myself like really change. Instead of reacting all my aggression against people in comments and all that stuff, I just start ranting on news posts themselves, and it's actually pretty funny sometimes. I enjoy it.
So what would you say the best parts of Trophies on PSN for you since you've started to become more active again
GTA
over these
threads.
last couple of months? Yeah, I was going to say, I know straight away.
Well, recently 50 Quid actually made a peace offering. He posted on my profile, hey, look at my new trophy card, and it was a GTA 5 trophy card. So it's like, alright, we're friends again. There were actually like 2 or 3 versions, so like, yep, I'm back.
What do you think of the new art cards? Are you liking them, or?
Well, they're in my profile, so that should say enough. No, but they're pretty cool. But I don't know if that's on your end, but they should update like quicker, because since I got that trophy card, I had like 2 new platinums, and it's still stuck on 66 while I actually got 68.
Well, just put that same card back in again, and it should refresh. And I
Yep.
thought we had it set where it would update every 2 hours across the site. So if you have a problem with that, you know, maybe point that out to us, and we'll see about making sure, you know, we don't have any glitches in there. It's supposed to be self-updating right now, but you can always just get another card, and it'll update to your most recent stats.
We should point out for any other members that are listening as well, you know, if you do have problems where it's not or a refreshing PM, the relevant staff people, and we'll look at it. And
sometimes it's hard to check that stuff because we don't hear from people because they don't know it's not working right, and we don't know that it's not working right for them because they haven't given us any feedback.
Yeah, they're being 12-year-olds behind their computers. Why is it not working? Why?
Yeah.
We never hear from it again.
We can't fix what we don't know is broke, so...
Right. Yeah, and you know, look forward to a lot more cards, and just understand we're shooting for a trophy card site. So you know, the other thing is yes, we don't have a tremendous amount of functionality and stuff with the cards on the back end. We will be putting some profile stuff on Trophies on PSN, but look forward to, you know, much more functionality on a different location altogether. So keep that in mind.
Good times. GTA man, I mean, obviously you've seen some of the changes that have come in the last couple of months. Is there anything that you think that we could do better?
Apart from giving me GTA 5 earlier, yeah, I just mentioned the trophy cards.
Yeah.
Tournaments. You had some interest in doing some tournaments,
Yeah.
GTA man?
I've been working with the event guys for the tournament. So actually, I've been actually putting some effort in trophies on PSN myself.
Yeah, and we have an add-on there. It's actually a little bit complex, and I don't know that anyone really knows how to work it. They're waiting for me to turn it on, and we'll probably have to test everything and do all that. So yeah, I mean, I understand you wanted to run some GTA tournaments and get some people that that play it all the time and have some head-to-head stuff with it. And
Yeah, I made some pretty good modes. For example, ice cream fan races. That's always really funny.
yeah,
We've done that a couple of times.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
But I won't spoil everything because then it's like pretty useless. But the event guys are busy with it, so hopefully we'll get something cooking very quickly. I might have another idea, but that's gonna be a lot of work, I think. If you click on let's say, for example, GTA forum, like GTA 4, then get a background of the game. That might be nice, but a lot of work and maybe not possible.
Yeah, that was brought up before, and really, you got to understand there's thousands of games, and to have an image for every single one of them, and then the responsibility to upload them for each one. We may be able to do something with the custom image that we get from Sony, where we could put an image up for every game, but that's again, it's a programming thing, changing every single game's page. So we'll have to see about that. Might be a template that we can do, but I just don't know about putting up a game image from every single game, because if you do one, everyone's going to ask for all the other ones to be done, and
Yeah, I have
that's a
to say
lot
on
of
the website I
that's
work
a lot
for
of
with
work.
thumbnails for the news post. We still need to
But-
have a lot of them, but
Yeah,
Ha-
pretty
ha-
crazy to
having-
get them all.
Having said that, obviously as the site grows, the more resources become available. So,
yeah, but I mean, really, I mean, you think about it. I mean, I hate to say it like this, but the graphics team really, they're going to get stretched really bad with, if we're developing a whole new site. You're talking about banners, icons, everything. Just what's gone into Trophies on PSN. We've changed everything. When you're surfing and looking at all the forums, there's little icons next to them. We developed all of those. When you smileys and awards and then picture, we have an Xbox site that we'll be releasing, and then we have a trophy card site, and that's duplicating the effort 2 more times over of all those things. And then also keeping up with Trophies on PSN, where we're adding new awards and we're adding new tiles, and things need to be redesigned, and people need banners for the top of their guides. Just all these things are, it's a lot. We're redesigning the front page right now, and it's like even little icons, like, okay, now we need a Twitter icon, and it needs to be this size, and we throw out a request there, and they're just flying and just, art card backgrounds.
speaking of graphics,
probably only have a couple hundred, and, I think there's like 1,600 games or something like that out right now.
and then some, yeah. I know what you mean, yeah.
It's just a lot of work. You got to understand that.
Speaking of graphics, we should probably say adieu to GTA Man and say thank you for joining us. And
I
telling
was
us
just
how
getting
you-
interesting.
telling us how you came to be Trophies on PSN and giving us your feedback. But we are going to have to bid you farewell and bring in our next guest.
And remember, you're going to help me get a platinum in GTA 5, right?
Yeah.
Well, the problem with that is I got 90 friends in my PSN list, and they're all saying the same thing.
The same
so
thing, exactly. As we
it's
talked
gonna
about
be
before, like, I
interesting.
want to bump to the front of the line now. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, offer start at $5.
You can look over Dante's shoulder if I can look
Yeah.
over yours, and you help
I
me with
need a
that.
ladder for that one.
It does have a point. 6'2", I think.
He's a giant. He's so scary. No.
He's scary. I don't know. Your avatar. I thought you were that hot chick there, and that's... I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
the only
even
thing
more
that's
scary.
big about that is beep.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll no doubt be seeing you back on the PodStation in the next couple of months.
Hopefully
anyway.
next week, because then there's some new news. But
Yeah, hopefully.
Indeed.
But When we get more GTA news, we'll be sure to get you
Our resident
back.
GTA expert.
Yeah, I'll be sure to fill the hole in my very tight schedule.
Well,
I'll
sir,
start,
yes, thank you for joining us, and looking forward to your tournaments and everything like that. So
Should be great.
Bye, confidence.
we'll talk more.
Later.
Laters.
Latest.
Yeah,
Anyway.
well, always fun.
So for me to, in the meantime, before you pull up someone else here, we would wait for GTA men to actually drop off, and takes a little bit after a person leaves before they're actually out. But before we pull in the next person, which is going to be who?
Is going to be Podge.
Podge.
Yes.
Before we do that, I'll tell you that, let's see, what brought me to the site? Well, there wasn't a site to bring me to. But I can say, I want to take this opportunity to look back and just say thank you for everybody being patient. We've come a long way, and I know you wanted me to discuss kind of a month-to-month, today, but and as I told you, that would probably be very difficult. We've undergone a lot of changes. GTA Man, from what he was telling me, he actually joined the site before we were actually live. Very early on, it was just a few of us, and then that became about a dozen of us that were actively working on improving everything. And we had members even floating in then from word of mouth, and we weren't ready for them. It was very difficult at first to try to juggle very big changes with the forum, but we were actually still alive in the sense that people could access us. They just had to know about us. And so, we started with a simple V-Bulletin, and completely changed the look and graphics and everything everywhere. Added a lot of modules for the awards and stuff like that, and it came a long way. I can really say that, I'm really proud of all the progress we've made, and that's through, a lot of hard work by each of the different groups, and so looking back, I want to thank them. There's a lot of people that, like 50 Quid and Stargate and Sunny, and guys like that were here from the beginning that just did a lot, helped make the site what it is today. And then that's carried on to, a lot of growth in a lot of other areas, like yourself, Dante, with news and social media. And each one of these things are very important. We've had very few people that have been, just come and, there's been a couple of them that have just come and pretty much not done anything as staff that have left us. But for the large part, most everyone has done above and beyond what could have been asked of them. So.
And even some of the recent additions, and staff changes and the way it's gone, in some respect paid off. We should probably, give some of those people a mention. We look at people like Zolonton, Scrubs, who's recently joined the guide team in Zolonton. They're doing great things there. Obviously, Warbear and Spratters are now obviously moderating the forum, and they're doing a fantastic job with that as well. And then obviously there's the graphics guys. Some of them, the new ones that have come in, like Podge, JK Blade and stuff, have come in and they've hit the ground running. So, while we nod to the old guys who are still with us and helping us push, the new guys are really getting on board and, as I say, hitting the ground running, and they're doing a fantastic job to sort of ease themselves in and then just, go full throttle, which presents, certainly going to be an interesting year with how fast we do actually push everything forward.
Yeah.
I'm probably certain that we've missed some people there. Obviously, we've already mentioned the news team. We've got Buku and IDP for life, and we'll be looking at expanding that as well come March time. So, it's definitely going to be a great year.
Yeah. I expect a lot of really great things coming. Particularly, we start increasing our numbers. Just like you said. That also pulls from a lot more people to compete and be a part of these things, and that energizes a lot of these positions. So,
Speaking of new guys,
hello, Podge.
Hi.
Longtime member and just recently joined our staff. Podge rang me on YouTube on a comment about forgetting to mention him.
Yeah.
I think it was titled with like thanks KD and slash
Yeah.
pissed,
Yeah.
if I remember.
It was a long week.
So, but your exams are over, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Finished now.
awesome. How'd you do? We want to know your grades.
Well, they've been sent away to be corrected, so I won't know until maybe a couple of weeks. But
Oh,
I'd say
okay.
I did well. So.
Well, your mom wanted us to
hope.
ask. No, I'm just kidding. So welcome, Podge. Tell us about yourself. Let's start off with a little bit about you and how you came to the site.
Well, came to the site. I was on previous forums with people who were already on the site, and they told me about it, so I heard about it, so I went over to see what it was like. And so I joined in November 2011 before it was public, and there was a lot of people that I knew, so I just decided to stay there to make it my new kind of main forum. So
Cool. Now, was there something that set us apart, or something that you liked, or was it the people that were there that you had known?
there were people that were there, and there were new ideas. Like the previous forums that I was on, they had said they were going to do new things, but
They
they
were
never
stagnant,
actually
yeah.
implemented them. They never actually implemented anything. So I said, well, these guys, I know KD, he's one not to mess about, so he's obviously going to bring in these new ideas, and I like the sound of them, so I decided to stay.
Well, thank you. Would you say we've implemented some ideas? You were there at
Oh,
the
yeah,
beginning. Have we
definitely,
changed a little bit?
It's changed, yeah. It's really changed over the last 2 years or so. Year I've been here.
Yeah. Well, we've been official for, it's been about a year and
Just a year, yeah.
couple weeks maybe now
Yeah.
that we've officially opened. So you remember it when it was, just the basic B-Bulletin
it was
forum.
very bare and
Yeah.
I was going to say, paint the picture for us, because unfortunately I didn't join till May after the site had been public, so I'm quite intrigued to hear what it was like in the old days.
Well, I don't know if
Well,
Podge, were you there early enough to see just V-Bulletin? It was just basic V-Bulletin forum.
I don't think I saw the skin that you have now, the current skin. I saw that, but you'd done nothing to it. You literally just had that skin.
Yeah.
Like any icons weren't there.
The icons were just terrible. They said, I think they just said Sony, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was pretty god awful. So yeah, we did a lot with the image, the main image on the top, and we did a lot with the icons and the borders and the blue. When we shrunk that area, it used to be actually pretty large, if I remember. When we first got this skin, that is to say, because the standard V-Bulletin is actually very, very boring looking, and it's also wide. For people that don't know, it's all the way from left to right on the screen, this is a fixed format, which is shorter. We have the gray on the sides, and that's a personal preference of mine because it really is easier on the eyes. And even when you're sitting in front of a computer, you don't have to swing your head left to right to see the whole site. So I think it's a lot more user friendly to be of the thinner variety. It looks a lot more professional in my mind than a site that goes from left to right completely. So, and Podge, I think you helped a lot with early on with some of the icons and things like that as just a at that point we weren't. I don't know. I don't know that we had probably had just Sunny in graphics. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just Sunny there when I started. Yeah.
So. And you came and went a little bit in between there, but I think you've probably seen, tremendous things, big differences now.
Yeah.
So
what's some of your favourite changes then that have been made since like the dire old Dark Ages days?
Well, I love the idea of the front page. Like when we started, we didn't really have a front page. We had a forum. We didn't really have the news scrolling around, like over the front page. We had basically just the forum itself. So I like to be able to see the news on the front page or whatever. And I like the idea of the trophy chase whenever we do get around to getting that. But that sounds interesting. Sounds something new and different. So.
What about the social media buttons and everything like that? Do you think those are good additions up there with being able to link to all that and?
Yeah. Well, if the Twitch is really handy. Like people maybe they want to know whether we have a Twitch, they'll see it straight away. They'll see we have Facebook, they'll see we have Twitter. and it's not like we have to go searching for or whatever. We can see straight away when you go onto the site, up in the corner, there's all the icons. So
Yeah. And that's tricky to keep up with too. What Dante and I have
yeah,
been talking
yeah,
about. We have no idea how many people, or if anyone even listens to us on iTunes, for example. But yeah, it's and there's a lot more to come. And I hope as a staff member, feel free, throw ideas out there and stuff like that. You're a
yeah,
very
yeah,
creative person. I've always loved your graphics work. There's a couple of you that stand out from other sites that I've known, and you
yeah,
guys do great work. Just before, I know we were worried about your consistency with school and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
I left for a while. From I think it was about October. I wasn't active since maybe October till about February when 50 asked me if I wanted the position on the graphics team. So he said I can have it on one condition, that I stay active.
yeah,
So I said yeah.
yeah, and school's got to be important. So
Oh yeah, school's really important. So
if something comes up with that, you just let us know.
yeah, don't worry. I don't think now until June there'll be nothing.
So what are you most looking forward to? Do you have any grand ideas yourself, or something that you'd like to see?
Well, I don't know about myself, but I like the idea of the trophy site, the trophy card site that you have coming up. So that sounds really interesting. I really like the
Yeah,
idea
you
of
want to
that.
see some other types of cards and stuff like that, I would
Yeah,
imagine, right?
different cards. Everything you see is square and it's a still image or whatever, and you've kind of already put rounded corners on it to make it slightly different. But maybe something else.
Yeah,
something
that's
really
just
different that will
that's
set
a
it
small
apart.
smidge of the overall ideas too. I mean, we've got a
Yeah,
lot of You remember before we developed a lot of that stuff, and then realized we wanted to take
yeah,
it to another site, just purely for the way everything works. It's a little much to put all on us. And then
yeah,
also, if we have an Xbox site here, down the road, we don't want to have all the cards on a site where it's dedicated to just trophies, and then we add Xbox functionality, and
yeah,
well, where are you going to find cards for those? We'd have to do the same thing for Xbox cards. Whereas if we put them all in one spot, it'll be a sister site that's easily accessible, and it by all appearances, it will be a different site, but it'll appear to be smoothly, seamlessly work together. And I think that's the goal. And then creative people like yourself can make all kinds of backgrounds and card designs, and we'll just go to
yeah.
town on that. So,
You know what's just occurred to me? We haven't asked any of our guests what they think of the actual PodStation podcast, because that is one addition that has really come on over the course of a year as well. We talk about the creativity of designs of the sites and some of the directions going, but we haven't really talked too much about content.
yeah. Well, it seems like Podge is listening to us at least a little. Yeah, I mean, one of the things we haven't really done is really got people to tell us what they'd want to hear us discuss. So, that's, do you have anything that comes to mind, Podge, in terms of that?
Well, something like maybe the way some like radio stations, they take newspapers and read the top stories and they say what they think on them. So maybe if you got the top news stories for gaming, and then you took those and you kind of discussed them, and
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, maybe Dante, we could work something like that. And I think we try to be very topical, and we try to talk about one or two main
Yeah.
things. Yeah, maybe that's something we can expand upon.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because I believe we may have something in the works for that already.
Yeah, we're going to throw another podcast out there, that's for sure. People that don't know, Daryl, who's IDP for Life, is interested in doing a specific gaming news related podcast weekly. Wednesdays, I think.
Yeah, aiming for sort of middle of the week, where it'll be a recap of all the news covered within that week, and then obviously it won't just be like news stories as such. It'll also be community focused as well. So there'll be community news in there, covering some of the stuff that goes in and around the site. So like events that are going on. If someone is recruiting for a specific task or got a project they need help with, IDP can put that out there for people to get in touch and, you know, enlighten people as to what the idea is behind that, and, you know, get more people involved. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see that particular show come on board. I mean, is that something that sounds good to you, Pod?
Yeah, that sounds great, yeah. I like the way, you know, every member can have a chance to, you know, say whatever on it and, like, say, oh, I need help with this, you know. It's going to bring the community closer, maybe. So.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea here, you have to understand, news is a very broad thing, and even with the revamp, I'm sure you've seen the list of what's planning on, you know, going on the front page. There's a separation between site announcements, news that's going on with the site, and then gaming news in general, and then also the community, what the community's got to say. So there's strong, distinct areas that are there, and it's hard to develop something that encompasses all of them because then it takes away from the focus. Like Dante's always been very big on industry news, and you can see that's where the news stories are focused. Whereas I've always said too, we need to have on the front page, we need to have what's going on with the community, you know, and really we need to rely on, you know, not so much the news team to do that, but the community to put that forward. The staff, for example, can put up posts about, you know, gaming events and things like that without Dante having to write an article about it. And then, you know, as we get better and better at each of these areas and put them together, you know, it'll be a nice, healthy stream of news showing up all the time. And that's what we're shooting for. So
we should also just point out while here as well, for those aspiring writers out there, or who want to do their own sort of editorials or you know, news articles and stuff, we do Community Wednesdays. You know, I know that we've tried to sort of put the idea out there before, but basically if someone publishes an article on a Wednesday in the Writers of Trophies on PSN section, we're always aware of what's posted, so we will go through, we'll look at your article, your piece, you know, when you post it, drop one of the news team a PM as well. We'll go and have a look at it, we'll assess it, you know, if it's a great quality, we'll showcase it in the news and release category, and we'll even put it up on the front page and promote it, so that you can at least, as a community member, get the recognition for your work. So, you know, it's definitely worth it if you come across a story that you're particularly interested in or want to write about, you know, whether it be politics around games, etc., or even if it is to just, you know, your thoughts on something, then, you know, do let us know, and we will showcase them, because, you know, I'm sure Podge agrees with this, is that one of the other aspects of Trophies on PSN is really showcasing other people's talent as well.
Yeah, I'll add to that by saying, you know, that's another idea to keep in mind, is the front page will incorporate some things that you haven't seen yet. Namely, we'll have the ability to highlight a video, so we could highlight a person's particular channel, their trophy guide video. It'll point towards, you know, some of the most popular guides, recent guide kind of things. And then the same with, you know, I have envisioned, you know, like the latest art card. So even yourself, Podge, if you put up an art card and things like that, we'll have some areas for that to display on the front page for people to see. So understand that, you know, that's a big part of fitting that area with the community. So what's the latest guide, that popular guide that everyone's using? What's the latest news story that's been written? You know, reviews, previews. Those don't always have to come from the news team. You know, a video channel highlight. You know, whether it be a trophy guide video or even someone's channel that they're doing their own podcast or something like that, we'll have the ability to put those up on the front page and show that off. Because it's not always just about the things that the staff are doing. So it's important to mention that and point that out going forward. If you want to be involved in something, you know, show us that you got a talent and a knack for it, and we'll put you out in front and, you know, show everyone your work. Or even to the point of, if you've got skill in a certain area in writing and everything, and you want to approach Dante about, hey, is there a position available? Because I know he's going to be looking at expanding, and we'll clearly need to expand the graphics team and everything in the future. So a lot of growth with all these other sites and all this other growth and large numbers of members is going to become more and more people needed for each of these positions. So.
Amen to that. So, Podge, what do you think? You know, do you think the next year is going to be pretty exciting for the site then? You know.
Yeah, definitely,
And
definitely.
and
A lot of changes and stuff like that coming in. So it'll definitely be exciting to see what way it goes.
Yeah, amen. I definitely think this next year is going to be great. And when we sort of sit here again in a year's time,
Our second anniversary should
for
be
our
Yeah.
second anniversary,
pretty
it's-
blown out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, and I don't have a timeline. It's hard to judge. You get excited and you say, yeah, we want this, we want this, we want this. The other thing too is we have to be careful with not doing things too fast and doing them wrong or half-ass. And then the other thing is the understanding of, like, yes, the Xbox site will be coming, but it really relates to finishing the trophy site because I really look to using it as a template. If we do all
Yeah.
these great things and we're able to, incorporate all the different games and challenges and everything and awards, then all we have to do is make it for Xbox. Instead of pulling from Sony's API for trophy images, we'll pull from Microsoft's API and pull achievement images, and then we just have to go through and change all the awards and banners and all that other stuff around, and again start over with building a community. You have an Xbox, Podge?
No, never had an Xbox. Don't want one.
Damn it. So I mean, it's one of those things, and then, I don't know. I mean, some of the staff may even want to work with the Xbox site with icons and all that other stuff just because they don't own an Xbox. I'm sure they wouldn't be able to work with game images and stuff as readily, but
Yeah. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that dual own different consoles that probably do have an interest. So, hopefully we can tap them people up the same way that we've been able to tap up some quite excellent staffers and quite excellent members.
Well, let's start at the beginning. Let's hope that Xbox has an answer for the PS4 and actually does another console. So, yeah. So what else, Podge? Is there anything else that stood out in your time with us? I mean, you've mentioned some of the other sites. What do you think is what are we doing really that's right? And is there something that is going to help us draw members from some of these other places? Do you think it's their lack of attention to growing?
Yeah, well, I think with other sites, like one in particular, they think what they have now, and they think, oh yeah, that's fine. We have that now. That's we can take that for granted, and we can take our time. We don't need to do anything as of now, but that's obviously not working. So, websites like TrophiesonPSN are obviously they're taking what's there, and they're obviously building on it. They're taking new ideas towards these kind of things, and it's really kind of building up. And they're not saying, oh, we'll bring in trophy cards and not do it for a year or so, and then they're actually taking it and they're putting it now. They're saying, yeah, we're definitely going to do this, and that's going to draw people towards us, more members.
What do you think about staff-wise? Do you think do we have the right attitude? Are we doing things right with listening to people, and are we friendly? Do you think we appear friendly?
Oh yeah, definitely. You're the friendliest community I've ever come across.
I think we came out with the idea of everyone. I think everyone thought we were just maybe copying, and we had the idea that we were just gonna rubber stamp it, just be just another site. Even GTA Men said it like that. Another gaming site.
Judged us before they've even seen us. They've judged and maybe given us a couple of months, and they've said, oh, they won't last. But obviously we have, and we've got friendly staff. We've got a good community.
So you have any ideas on how we get people to actually take a look for themselves?
Well, when these new kind of features that you have kind of ready to go, when they're ready, I'd say a lot of people will try to join up. But for now, maybe
I think the trophy card site, right, will knock it out. You guys think that'll just put advertising all around the freaking world and just...
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So the trophy card site will be a big boost to our numbers then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
And
I'm
if the
thinking.
trophies, yeah, if the cards are so radically different, people are going to say, "Hey, I want one of those." So they
And
can
let's
say, "Ah,
face it,
they're
forums on card
nice."
sites are pretty, I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about them, but they
Yeah,
always, their focus is so much on trophy cards that their forums are always subpar.
yeah,
And
I think you guys picked up on a good point there as well. With the friendliness of the community and stuff, and other sites writing as off in some respect. That's actually um, motivated us to be that bit more. Certainly from my perspective, I see some of the other sites around, and then I look at some of the things that we have here, and I just think, surely, surely you should be doing stuff like, we are in that respect.
yeah,
well, I think that just like Podge said, they're comfortable in their their numbers and their members, and I think their members too have a little bit of. I liken it to like fanboyism. They think, well, everything's working fine here. Why should I? They don't know to look elsewhere. There's not anything that says, well, that's missing. Maybe I need to go find that, because they don't know about it. And then when you have like trophy cards and stuff like that, that'll draw people to at least take a peek. And I think that's where I've always said, I'm not ready to like recruit, because I want all that stuff ready. I don't want people to have looked yet and been like, oh, it's just a forum. Because if you came on like the first couple of days, like if you were a Podge and you came there and you're like, well,
yeah,
what is this about? He knew me and he knew that we had grand visions, and now he can see that we're putting our money where our mouth is, so to speak, and he knows that we're continuing to grow and we're listening to members. But if you're on the outside and you just came and looked and you weren't aware of those things, or they weren't in place yet, you might look and then just go, well, I'm going to go stay with my trusty old site. So,
I
that's
think,
why I've always I've always been, let's build it first. Now it's time to start focusing on numbers, clearly, SEO, and and I think the
but
next big step is that trophy card site, man. If we get just hundreds of thousands of trophy cards being all used all over the place, and they come to our site and see everything else we have, I think people will come in groves.
And I think it's important to point out that just because we actually achieve something doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to stop there either.
Oh
If
yeah,
we
yeah,
achieve the grand vision, doesn't mean that we won't continue on to build upon that as well.
definitely, definitely. I often wonder, like I've always thought about, like, where's there a point where we say that the site is built, and I've come to the conclusion that like it'll never be finished. That's the only way to say it. It'll never be finished, because things will change, new features will be added, even with the PS4 and things like that, and the way it works. Then that'll change the way we want to do things as a site, and all those things. There's always going to be something we're going to want to add and tweak and make better. It's just like cards. Okay, well, there's always going to be new games out. There's always going to be new cards. There's going to be new card types thought of. I look forward to the day where we have a card site that just blows all these other sites away.
And
So
Podge will be helping with that.
yeah. I hope so. Yeah.
I hope so too. He's great art talent. Now, Podge, are you
Thanks.
looking at doing art and stuff in your career, in your life?
Well, I was. Now at the moment, I'm conflicted between a few different decisions, but I think when I went away from the site, I kind of went away from graphics there for, from maybe October to January. I kind of forgot all about it, and I didn't want to go back to it for a while.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of getting back into it. I'm seeing how much I loved it and how much I really, wanted to do something. So it's still a possibility, because I know everyone's telling me, oh, you should do it, but
Well, you should do what you enjoy doing. If you do a career or something because it half-ass interests you and there's a lot of money in it or something, I mean, you're not going to enjoy it as much as if it's something that you love. If you love graphics and stuff, man, I would encourage you to consider that.
So I keep trying to encourage KD to drive up the revenue so I can have an office to do what I love as a professional occupation.
Yeah, I don't know about office, but we'll see about getting you tickets and get you into places, and we'll do all that. Certainly as a news team, I really want to get to that point where we're very professional in that sense. Get some advanced copies of things.
Yeah, but I do think with Trophies on PSN, as you mentioned with the art side of things, and this is another reason, I kind of like the site, because we do try and encourage creative people to be creative.
Well,
And if that has a knock-on effect, that's great, because then it can help people in other aspects of their day-to-day life as well.
This is always the stance I've taken is you have to think about it like this. No matter what the site is, it's all of you and your creative outlets and the things that you love doing, loving the news, loving graphics. I couldn't do this. I mean, that's the big thing that makes me realize, like, I'm like, everybody looks at admin, owner, all this, phooey. If anything, I work for the members. The members are dictating where all this is going. It's like the chat room. I was against the chat room from the beginning, and I have to develop that mentality of listening, because I couldn't do this. I can't do the news. I can't do the graphics, and I can't do them as good as Podge can do. Those are that's the kind of points that mean, what is the site about? This is everyone's site. This is the members' site, and there's no reason not to take a tact like that. If we are to be anything, it has to be what the overall gaming mindset of what gamers want. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I've got a few ideas here and there, and I come up with some good things in my head from time to time on visions on where to take things. And yes, I make the ultimate decision, but at the same time, I can't do it without you guys. Yeah. I'd be a fool to think I could.
And you need people to be telling you, certain aspects of it, certain decisions are wrong as well. I mean, as you mentioned, the chat, in some respects, I was kind of on the fence a little bit with it. Yeah, I know you were against it. Yeah, we've implemented it, and look how well it's paid off. And that was something that was, in some respect, actively campaigned by members.
Yep. Somebody asked about it, and I was like, no. And then somebody asked about it, and I was like, no. Then someone asked about it, and I was like, well, how many people want this? And everybody was like, yeah, this would be good. This would be good for gaming nights, and we can chat in there, and we can have meetings. And I'm like, well, yeah, I didn't think about that. And next thing you know, let's give it a shot. So, it's the same with anything. I'm a gamer. I have my certain style. I have things that I like and things that I want to see. But, that's not going to incorporate everything, and that's not going to incorporate the best way to do it if that's not my area of expertise. So, I mean, look at my history. I mean, I was a cop. I'm looking at going back and working as a cop. That doesn't qualify me to determine, the best things to add to it, to what kind of cards. That doesn't get. I'm a gamer like anybody else. You guys know the things you want to see, so just tell me about it. You got to not be afraid to share an idea or anything. Even there's a few guys out there that even tell me, hey, you're going about this the wrong way, and it makes me rethink. Now I don't want to encourage everyone to say you're full of shit and everything every day and tell me off or anything like that. It's not the point I'm getting at. But if you have a better way of doing something, or you have an idea, don't think it's too outlandish. It might just be genius. It might be an easier way, a better way to do something.
Yeah, and I think it's important, regardless of what the idea centers around, you can, we should emphasize this point, you can PM any of the stuff, not just, it doesn't necessarily have to go into a thread, or, you don't necessarily have to fire off a PM to the relevant person. If you've got a particular idea, but you only really know Podge as a member of staff, for example, if you fire a PM off to him, I'm sure he'll pass that message on, an idea, to the relevant people. So, I'd certainly say don't hold back if you've got an idea. I'm sure you'd be fine with PMing me any ideas that came across, wouldn't you, Podge?
Yeah.
Yep.
So before we let you go and get our final guest on, most anticipated game of 2013?
Oh, Grand Theft Auto, probably, yeah.
I know a Dutch man that's jumping up and down extremely happy right now.
Yeah.
Is he paying you or threatening you in any way to say it? Or
he's holding my family hostage, but
He promised you he'd help you platinum it. You're in line before Kryptonite Dragon
I
if
just
you
think
mention it.
it definitely looked like one of the best games this year. So,
Yeah.
in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, and we know it's going to be a nice big open world, just fun game full of
Do what
depth
you
and
want.
stuff. Yeah, and that's those are the best kinds of games. I don't care.
I
what
think
anybody
I think I'm gonna steal like GTA man's catchphrase and just go with needs more PS4.
says.
Change my signature on that. Well, anyway, we should bid you farewell, Podge, because we still have one more guest to go on, to come on. So I want to say thank you for joining us on
Thank you.
this week's PodStation meet, and hopefully we'll try and get you on again at some point in the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you for all your hard work and good luck with school.
Thanks.
Amen. Take it
See
easy,
ya.
pal.
Bye.
Take it easy. Good luck in whatever you choose to do.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of decisions to be made by these young kids today with school and.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Who we got next? Zola.
Zoltan. I was just going to say before we do get Zol on, I've got to admit that this week's show's been pretty cool. Just like different people on and different conversations. Been quite unique, I think.
Yeah. And we're going to have people that are just interested in the news be like, oh, what do we care about hearing about you guys and staff members? But it's like anything else.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I did send a message out to 30-odd people. And the people that came on are the ones that could definitely make it this week. But, depending on the reaction of this, I think this is something we probably need to look at perhaps doing again. But I will say this. In order for us to do something like this again, you need to make sure that you make it clear to us that this is what you want. Because if you do, we will listen and take on board that, and we will look at implementing it if we can.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people shy to be, speaking in front of people, and that's okay. Just tell us. Don't let us make us feel like we've heard it before that we're forcing it on you or anything like that. You're welcome to come on. We'll have different guests for different topics, but don't make us pull your hair and all that other stuff because that's not what we're trying to do.
And we're not that bad. I'm sure most of the guests on today will agree that it's fun to do this kind of thing. So
Indeed.
and it's a nice way to get to know a lot of the community as well. From first hand instead of sort of like, oh yeah, this guy's great, blah 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 blah. Do you know what I mean?
Hello
It's
there.
nice for people to sort of put themselves out there.
Antonis.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Doing good, sir. How are you?
Oh, very good. Just returned from work. I was literally running to get there in time.
Awesome. We are you're our last guest for today, but we want to start off. Our main topic we're asking everyone is just, what brought you to Trophies on PSN and what things you like and what you hope to see. We're also been talking a little bit about some of the changes that have occurred for those of us that have been around for a while and have seen it. So why don't you start telling us a little bit about you, how you found out about us, what caused you to come to us, and.
Yeah, well, I was randomly cruising around another site when there was a topic there about trophies on PSN. I was a little curious about what this site would be, so I just asked that member that started the thread, where can I find that site? I couldn't find it on Google, so I came there and find some people that I already knew from the past, like you. Stargate, 50 quid, and I decided to join there and spend time there.
Cool. Now, is there something that stands out about us that had you stay and had you become a regular? I mean, is there something that you feel that we have?
Yeah, definitely the community. It's unbelievable. A lot of friendly people. I don't think I have found anyone that is not friendly in this site.
You've met 50 quid, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
I had that traumatic experience.
I'm
You
just
didn't get
kidding,
an
50.
infraction, did you?
I'm kidding, 50 squid, if you're listening. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that we talked about this just a little bit ago, but I've been trying to build the site and never really reached out, haven't advertised, haven't done the SEO. Do you have an idea like what things we could do to attract people from those other places to get people's attention here, or do you think it's simply waiting for like trophy cards to populate all four corners of the internet?
We can get definitely more members by word of mouth or by referring the site from various videos in YouTube, from something little like comments from social media like Facebook or Twitter. There are more ways than SEO to actually get more members and trophy cards.
Yeah, yeah.
Yay,
I mean,
someone
I
else
I
has to
wonder.
champion that Twitter button.
Yeah, I wonder too. I mean, I've changed my philosophy on that because SEO is very important, but at the same time, I wonder how many people like search,
Yeah.
Google or something at the same time where like the social media makes you pop up just everywhere, and then word of mouth is very strong as we can see.
Well,
Most of
see,
our 680 members or wherever is been from that. So
I think I was going to say, I think Sol will probably agree with me that it tends to work the other way around with social media. Is like, for example, if you see something trending on Twitter, you're actually going to go and Google that as a result of it actually popping up on your social media rather than Googling it first and then looking at the social media aspect of it.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. Social media is the future and the present. First of all, the present. Yeah, many people worldwide go to social media, Facebook. Even me, that I didn't like Facebook some years ago. I created an account recently, and I spend a lot of time there to communicate, to get news about various things. And I've also met Trophies on PSN there, of course.
Yep.
Huh.
We noticed. But no, I think you're right there, Zoe, in some respect, because it comes back to this community aspect as well, that I think from our perspective going forward is that we have to tread carefully with social media as well, because the last thing we want is to have a disconnect with people on social media when we're trying to bring them into something that's very community orientated. So the idea is, if you're able to create those if we're able to take the formula of Trophies on PSN's fantastic community and put that on social media and get that bill and stuff, it will have an impact in what we do on the main site, because essentially social media for us as a site in some respect is advertising the great community that we have, and in order to do that we have to showcase the community in other ways, and Facebook and Twitter are a great way of doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
So what else do you think? What big changes have you seen, Zol? Is there something that you're really looking forward to us doing? Tell me what's the best way to attract members here. What do you see?
Well, definitely more trophy guides. I would come to that.
Yeah.
At
And with
time.
more members, that's going to come, obviously.
Yes, we need to focus on most recent games, like the latest Metal Gear Solid game, and some other new games that will come in a few days, like the new Tomb Raider game. By having the first trophy guide that appears in the net, we will definitely draw more members inside. Well, this is from my department, the guide team. Other than that, the trophy cards will greatly help to get more members by advertising them throughout the net. And definitely, if a member sees a lot of activity in the community, in the forums, then they will want to join our big family and be active themselves.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's a call out for all staff to make sure you get involved in news articles and guides.
Not only trophy guides, they don't have to make to make them, but just be more active in the forums.
Yeah, and there, you can. I want everybody to know too. We've talked about this a little bit. Post tips and things like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be if you're not a guide writer, or you want to try at a guide. There's people that'll
Exactly.
partner with you.
Exactly.
One of the things is everyone's always worried about that first guide they write. They think, I mean, at least speaking from my perspective, I can remember, the first guide. I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. It's going to, how do I do this? And we've done a lot to make the process a lot easier. We've got a lot of tremendous help threads and stuff like that up. We've got a workshop for you to actually create everything and get direct feedback from the guide team. And it's not a painful process. It's really not. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy making guides, and if I had all the time in the world, that's what I would be doing, gaming and writing guides. But obviously, moving on to other things I have to do with the site, that doesn't allow me to do those things. But there's a lot to be said about just giving it a shot. Give it a shot.
Mhm.
I'm sure most of these guys can tell you they were their first guide. They were worried about it being subpar or not being, helpful
Yes.
and
Yes.
not being picked, not being stickied. But
Mhm.
you can only improve. So.
And I mean, you can always PM people like Sol. If you can't find a specific way to, if you can't find the thread that gives you tips on how to write a guide, PM the guide team staff like Zol, and they'll point you in the direction, and they'll offer, tips as well on top of the stuff they do. So, don't sort of think, I think I might write a guide, but I'm not sure. It seems like a lot of work. You get in touch with the guide team staff, and they can help with a lot of things as well.
Yeah, and one thing to think about too. I think this is important, Zol. You might tell me. We have it set up where it's competitive, but you still are rewarded with points for your attempt. I think that's pretty powerful. What do you think?
You mean about the fact that I keep writing trophy guides even if I have reached the maximum side awards?
Well, no, I'm talking about like if you compete against someone, you can still get points even if your guide's not selected.
Oh yes. Yeah, yeah. If your guide gets rejected, yeah, you get half. Your points get multiplied by half, and you still get points for the side awards. Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole point there is like we want to pick the best and we want to have competition, but I don't want to ignore someone's effort either. If they've made an honest effort to make a guide,
Yes,
that's our way of rewarding them.
We don't take heads in the guide team. We just pick the best guy that has to represent the site and gives us a good events for the community. But we also tell the members that made the rejected guide with that way that you're always welcome to make more guides. We will award you if your guide has showed us that you have put some real effort there, like it happened with the Saints Row 3 guide that you may remember a few months ago. But if anyone has any trouble with a guide, the guide team is here for that reason. We don't only read the guide and we just pin it in the forum. We help the members to make their guides better. We have advices, tips, anything they may need.
And I can say it really feels good to write a guide and help people with their gaming. It really does.
Yes.
I really enjoy that. That's one of the things I miss about guide writing. Yeah, when we get all set and we got all these sites rolling and everything like that, that's where you'll find me. I'll be playing games and writing guides. So. So.
Well.
But no, you're a guide writing stud. You have any other advice for people that are looking to get into the guide writing thing? I mean, what's the biggest challenge, do you think? Just getting over that hurdle of being brave enough to try the first one?
I would
taking
say
good notes while you play your game that you're wanting to.
Well, the most difficult part is to actually organize the whole all of the information you have gathered and write them in a few lines. And saying the trophy guide, you need to do that and that and that, or collect this there, only in a matter of 5 to 6 lines. This is the most difficult part, but what someone should do when they start writing a trophy guide is, first of all, pick a game they really like, For example, if GTA Man would be to write his first trophy guide, he should have to pick GTA 5.
Yeah. Yeah, something he's got experience in and he's played that style of game. Instead of exploring,
Yes.
you're saying instead of exploring something you've never done before and then trying to figure out, well, what's the
Yes,
best way to
yes.
say how
Write
to
a
beat
guide about
this?
the game you're familiar with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stick with what you know.
Yeah.
That's another thing too is play a little bit of the game. Don't just start writing. I think there's a lot to be said about taking notes. Playing a game and taking notes, and then testing your theories as well, and being open to other people's interpretation about how to do it. I've been
feedback,
surprised before by I'll write the best guide in the world, and then someone will come along and go, you can very easily get that trophy by doing this, and then you're like, oh shit. So
yeah, I've had that in the past.
you just got to understand that the gaming community is going to be stronger than your gaming skills. So don't always don't approach it with the idea of this is the way to do it. The only way to do it is the way I did it. A guide is just that. It's a guide. It's not the absolute. This is the only way, or this is the end all beat all. We just simply have to determine which one's going to have the best information, not the most. Not writing like I did with my first guides too. It's just putting too much in there. It's got to be concise, and that word means that it has the details with the least amount of words. It gets the point across.
Yes,
So.
exactly.
What was your first guide that you wrote, Zol?
It was James Cameron's The Avatar, the game. that takes me so back. It was 3 years ago, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, 50 trophy guides later, we are in 2013.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry 2.
It's crazy. I was a little bit scared. I started with a PSN title.
Yeah, it is advised that you start with a small game with a few trophies, like a PSN title. I don't know, what was your first trophy guide?
Oh, geez. It's hard to remember at this point. I don't know if it was the Ghostbuster, Sanctum of Slime, or... No, it was something before that. It might have been a little shooter or something like that on PSN. I'm not really certain at this point. I picked a few games that were out there too that nobody was making guides for. I did Deadliest Catch. Did a guide for that. Some things like that.
That was fun.
Nobody in the world played. There was 3 people in the world that even played that game. But I did it for fun, and the first guides and stuff I picked were games that it was the same kind of thing. It was I felt they were my style of game. Shooters and things like that. So you got to do that. You got to try it.
Yeah.
Got to give it a shot. You won't know if you like it until you give it a shot. Don't be afraid. It's like people coming on our podcast. It's just a friendly conversation. It's not meant to be scary. Same with the guides. If it gets rejected or it needs work or you don't get selected over someone else, you don't fret over that. It happens. Happens to all of us.
And the same with your news team articles as well.
Yeah.
If you want to submit news, we're always happy to offer feedback and so on. We're not just going to dismiss it outright and go no. I think people know the news team enough now to know that we're friendly enough that if you send us a PM and you need help with it or you want feedback or honest opinion, we'll give it you.
So, and tell us a little bit more about you in particular. Now, English isn't your first language, so that's even a even bigger accomplishment for you. Writing guides in English that's not your first language. You speak what? 50, 100 languages? No, you speak 3 or 4 though, right?
No, only 5. Only 5.
5. Okay. So that's a pretty big. Yeah, that's wow.
Well, yeah. First of all, sorry about my accent right now.
Hey, it's
not good.
pretty. You get pretty damn good English. I got to tell you.
Oh well, thank you. Well, because I know that many languages, this is why I decided to go and study linguistics in a university in Greece.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to do. I enjoy doing that. When I take university classes, the mornings, and sometimes it can take us until 9 p.m. I really enjoy being there. It's not a core or something.
Cool. Cool. So, like, what are your favorites? What do you think of English? Is it hard among the other ones?
If you take out some grammar issues, yeah, it's definitely an easy language, personally.
Oh, okay.
Because Greek is one of the hardest languages in the world right now. Even us, the natural speakers, cannot perfect Greek until a certain age, like 19 or 20.
Wow.
So I have been speaking English since I was 6. So I have had like 14 years to practice them and attain a certain level, good
Now,
enough to be here and speak English with
what
you.
was your exposure there? Does your family speak some other languages?
It was video games, to be honest.
Wow.
I know. Do you know what the funny
And
thing
people
is?
think video games aren't, look at that. That's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, there aren't any video games in Greek, so I had to learn English to actually follow the story.
So, like, what games did you play then? This is interesting. What games?
The first game I ever played and was Crash Bandicoot back in PlayStation 1 and Spyro the Dragon.
So, did you learn lots of like sayings from games? Was that one of the first things you picked up?
Yeah, I still learn English a lot from games today.
Cool.
Yeah, I was going to
That's
say I
interesting
know
as
it.
hell.
Well, it is interesting because that's another person I know that's learned a lot of English from video games. As I say, I know a crazy Dutchman who's also whose English has come on leaps and bounds purely because of video games.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Interesting.
Maybe somebody needs to consider that as a way of teaching.
Well, didn't Sony have a thing on PSP which was like a language translator thing?
I don't know.
And you
I've
could
heard most of those
speak
don't work
into
that
the-
well.
Oh yeah. Oh,
You could
that
speak into the
was horrible.
microphone and yeah, I'd like to see somebody actually do something like that works and that isn't horrible. I think
Universal
that'd be pretty
translator. That's high tech sci-fi stuff right there.
Yeah, but Vita can handle it.
Okay. Maybe the PS5. That'll be a feature there, right?
PS Vita 2.
Cool. Well, what are you most excited for going forward, Zol? What things do you want to see added to the site? Is there something that you'd like to see us do that we're not doing?
I can't think of something right now. I think we're good. Just a stronger community base and we're good. Where should we go?
More numbers.
What?
More numbers then, right? More numbers
Yeah,
of
more
members.
numbers. Yeah.
So some more SEO stuff like we're doing and
Mhm.
advertising for once.
Yeah, we launched the trophy cards and we're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
More Facebook likes and tweets.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll certainly get to work on all that. I'm
Okay.
trying.
I think so. Before we sort of wrap up the show for today, we should probably do the same as we've done with all our other guests. But
Here it comes.
Zol, what's your most anticipated game of 2013?
Probably God of War 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5. These two.
Grand Theft Auto 5 gets a mention again.
That's 3 votes for Grand Theft Auto.
So we're gonna have like everyone's gonna be playing. Yeah. What's with that, huh? Of course, that is a multiplayer game. There's gonna a lot to be said about that. We'll have a lot of staff and members playing that, and
Yeah. We can have a couple of gaming nights there as well.
yeah. Well, we can have some regular tournaments. It sounds like GTA Men's really into wanting to kick off tournaments and stuff, particularly with the Grand Theft Auto franchise. So
And I think we've definitely got a number of takers who want to get involved with that as well. So
yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely up there on my list. Just looking
it's
forward.
gone
to
up a few. Gone
They don't
up a
delay
few
it
places.
for another couple of years. Cool.
Oh,
So
very nice.
one last thing, Zol. Did you see the stuff with the PS4? What do you think of that bad boy? Are you a day one purchase?
I may I may be one of the very few people that use PlayStation 3 right now that I'm not very excited about it. I
Really?
personally think that we have a lot of things to do still in the PS3. We have a lot of games to play, a lot of activities to do.
Okay.
I think even though it's been like 6 years since PlayStation 3 first came out, I think it's a little early. I don't know why, but I still think it's a little early for PS4.
Now, does the social media aspect, does it seem like too much, or does it seem like it's just an all good thing, or I mean, what's your take on that? The share
I
button.
No, I don't like that, to be honest. And that share button, I wish it disappears. I don't want to. And I have seen some images from the PlayStation 4 thing that you have to put your real name below your above your PlayStation Network ID.
Oh boy.
I don't know if that's true, but
That'll be problematic for me.
there's going to be some major trolling there.
But see, it's interesting you mentioned that because, while you look at it from a perspective that there could be some trolling, the other aspect of it is that it could actually eliminate it. Because if people are dealing with, effectively real people, Sony in some respect and the relevant networks they partner with to provide all these features are going to have to police that very carefully. And I'm not talking about like policing, what could be a comment taken out of text, but context, but can, we're talking about stuff like people actively really winding people up for no good reason. And so in some respects, you could argue that it's not necessarily a good thing, but at the same time, if they've got the infrastructure to police, report, etc., it could actually eliminate a lot of the hostility.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel that they don't always have control over that. I don't think Facebook has control over it. And being the private person that I am, that would be a challenge for me to have to link it to a genuine Facebook profile or something like that. I mean,
I imagine there'll be a lot of optional things towards it. I mean, we're just looking at it as the whole fully set up picture. We haven't actually seen how you go about and you set up and how it will work. Really.
But I think you're seeing I'm shocked because I've changed my tune. I was kind of, I'm more for the PS4 than I thought I would be. But at the same time, I told you how my feelings are with the social media. But we're seeing a lot of people say that that's not really anything important to me, or it's not something I like.
Yeah, but then the question is then where else do you want it to evolve? Do you know what I mean? Where else can it evolve?
Well, it can make me a beer and rub my feet. I don't know.
It'll be
so no day one purchase, huh, Zol? No day one. There's a lot to be said about it. I think the PS3 will be sitting around for a long time, even with the PS4. If I get a PS4, I bet my PS3 is still going to be sticking around.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's got a lot of life in it.
Yeah, and that's why I won't be buying PlayStation 4 day one. I think I'll wait a year or two until I buy it.
Yeah. Now, what are prices like over there in Greece? Are they pretty consistent? Like, where do you buy your stuff from, or do you do the European store? And
we have very limited access to most technical stuff here in Greece. Not only because of the financial crisis that's around the last years, which is literally very bothersome. But whenever I want to get something, I can order it from online sites like Amazon or eBay, and I can find them in some very cheap prices. So I can say that I didn't have any troubles finding some games or technical stuff that I needed. So, about the prices here in Greece, I think PlayStation 4 will be around like the rest of Europe. So far we are good, as long as we have euro as our currency.
The latest rumors I hear say there's going to be two versions, $430 American and $530 American, whatever that translates to.
Well, it's still early. We'll find out more information about it later.
Yeah, I got to be honest. It's not the cost that bothers me. It's the release date for Europe that bothers me.
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Well, thank you for being on, Zolantan.
Thank you.
And I guess we'll wrap it up here. We don't need to hang up on you. We'll wrap the whole show up unless Dante's got something else to add.
What are you trying to say?
Trying to say we went over our 2-hour mark like we always do.
Oh, okay.
Oh well, thank you very much for letting me in this PodStation episode. It's been an honor talking to you in person.
Yes, and thank you for being such a tremendous guide writer, man. You're just you're a stud, and it was really great to have you on the guide team and have you contribute so much to the members. If anything, we all know that guides are a cornerstone to the site, and since we got to consider that you've written what 50.
Yeah, 50.
50. That's just huge, and I think I would encourage everyone to thank you personally for all that work and seeing that people have the best information on how to beat games. So you're stud. Thank you.
Thank you too.
All right. Anything else to add, Dante?
No, just thanks to all the other guests that joined us this week. Podge, GTA Man, Buku Nushi. And sadly, we weren't able to get 50 quid or Garcia Fever on, but I'm sure we'll work out something for that for a show in the future. So, but thank you to all them guys and gals as well.
Indeed. So thank you for joining us with the PodStation from Trophies on PSN, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.